So before we even go on to advise clients and also enable them to take positions that will help them in that transition, we ourselves need to understand. It needs to be one that you understand what your portfolio looks like today, what are the risks before you, what are the kind of stranded assets you could have going forward. I use the example of the typewriter and the computer. I mean, you could have been the best typist, but when computers came around, there was a transition. Some people got stranded. Some people, their skills were no longer fit for purpose. It's the same thing that is happening in finance. At a certain point, if your project, if your solution is not tagged green or sustainable, you might not be able to find financing for it. For us as institutions also, what it means is that unless we position ourselves appropriately, ultimately sources of finance, investor interest in Nigeria as a whole might dry up. So there's that need to continuously understand what is happening, the transition is occurring, and also start to enlighten your board, and as an institution, you take steps towards making that transition. So yes, as part of the study that Olumide will launch, we had done some review of our loan book, and we found out that most of our assets were brown. And in fact, there were opportunities to increase the proportion of our loan book that was green. And that could mean working with customers to ensure that the projects they bring to the fore meet certain criteria. But unless you understand that, and I think it goes back to what Steve said, there needs to be education, and there are several corollaries, which means that there's the financing side, the access to funding, and then there's also the regulatory side. I'm happy to see the CBN is here because it's a major challenge.